It was a Saturday, so I went down to the police station with my son, and I spoke to an officer.
Her 3-year-old son had revealed a heartbreaking secret.
He had told me that Uncle David hurt him, and I said, oh, well, what did he do? And he said that he was touching him, and that he couldn't tell me or Uncle David was going to kill me.
But it was difficult to get her son to speak up to police. Without the evidence, detectives needed to move forward. The case sat open for months.
Well, he was only 3, so he wasn't speaking up to anyone.
Later that year, a break in the case. North Ridgeville police arrested the little boy's step-uncle for voyeurism. During a police interview, he also admitted to raping Sarah's son.
I found out that he was not being charged as David, that he was being charged as Kaylee. I was very confused. I knew nothing of this name. Nobody ever told me of this name.
Harold David Hassenruck, 32 years old at the time, had a new name.
So I asked him, I said, why did you change your name? And he said that he wanted a fresh new start, something catchy when he got out, and that's when he changed it to Kaylee DeMarco.
Sergeant Adam Fries, the detective on the case, soon learned this wasn't a random name. It belonged to a 13-year-old girl who lived in the same town. That wasn't all. When police searched Hassenruck's apartment, they found photos of young children and this newspaper clipping with Kaylee DeMarco, who was 10 years old at the time.
And it was cut out perfectly silhouetted where she was standing on a balance beam where she was in gymnastics. It was laminated, and it was kind of, odd at that point, that the fact that was her name, and now he had the same name.
Kaylee DeMarco's mom, Rhonda, was once so proud of that article. When Kaylee was younger, she excelled at gymnastics, taking home trophies and medals.
The Chronicle wanted to do an article on her, so, we thought, sure, why not?
They had no idea it would lead to this nightmare.
You're seeing some serious felony charges, and they're under your name. That was weird. It was creepy, and I didn't like it. It was weird because it was my name. Like, it was almost like looking at it like that was you, but it wasn't me.
Kaylee, now 21 years old, and her mom spent the last 8 years fighting to change Hassenruck's name back.
I definitely feel like I've had to grow up faster than most kids did.
Rhonda and Kaylee formed a friendship with Sarah, too, as they fought to free themselves from Hassenruck's grip. But the fight isn't over yet. In October of next year, Hassenruck is set to be released from prison. Hassenruck took a plea deal for the charge of child rape and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The Lorain County prosecutor says a life sentence was on the table, but there wasn't enough evidence to convict if the case went to trial.
He should not be out. The Justice Center, they failed us.
Sarah let us speak to her son. He's now 12 years old and still struggling with what happened to him. We're protecting his identity.
So he's served 9 years in prison for this. How do you feel about that?
That he should be having to serve way more than that because he's gone to prison more than one time, and he's a criminal, and he's not going to stop.
Why are you speaking out? It's really brave to be able to do that.
To have people not go through what I had to go through.
Kaylee DeMarco and her family also fear for their safety when Hassenruck gets out of prison.
Terrifying. Not just for my daughter, the other victim, anybody else. I mean, all the damage he did without a computer. And with technology today, I mean, that scares me for any community he ends up in.
As for the detective who worked so hard to put Hassenruck behind bars,
Well, I think there's a great possibility that he's going to reoffend. I really do. And it's frustrating. It very well is, for the fact that you thought that you did the job that was necessary, knowing that he's going to get out, and you just hope for the best that there's not going to be a future victim out there, but I'm afraid that there could be.
It's 2 children that had their lives taken away from them by a sick man, and now we have to fear forever that he may come back.
Cleveland 19 requested an interview with Harold Hassenruck through the Madison Correctional Facility. Our request was denied by the prison. We spoke to Hassenruck's mother today. She says he is innocent and did not rape the young boy.
Sarah, it is so frightening for parents out there. What happens when Hassan Ruck gets out of prison?
So he will serve 5 years probation. Then he will have to register as a Tier 3 sex offender, and because of that, the community will be notified.
I'm wondering what's been the reaction from both of these families since their stories aired.
Right, it's been really, really intense for these families, but they wanted to come forward. They wanted to tell their story, basically to warn other parents of the dangers out there when it comes to child predators.
Yeah, very brave of them to come forward like that.
And the boy, the teenager to come forward. It just breaks your heart.
It sure does. Well, thank you, Sarah. And we've posted a number of additional clips and resources about these stories. You can find the information on our website or through social media.
Bishop Richard Lennon